I built this camera that actually made me go outside more again. Because every time I turn it on, it gives me a real-life quest. Sometimes something simple, sometimes something a bit weird. And in this video I'll show you how it works, how I built it, and how you can build one yourself. To build the device, I first needed a few electronic components. I bought a small controller board with a camera, a battery, a small display for the back, a button and a simple power switch. To figure out which camera would work best for this project, I ordered a bunch of different camera modules and tried them out. In the end, I stuck with the small one from Seed Studio. It's nice and compact and just worked really well for what I wanted to do. Once everything arrived, I connected all the parts together, which luckily turned out to be pretty straightforward. If you want to build this project yourself, you can find the 3D files, the code and a full step-by-step guide on my Ko-fi. The link is in the video description. The code is what turns all these individual parts into an actual device. The display shows the quest and the button lets you take the photo to confirm it. Once you take the picture, the image and the quest information get saved on the SD card. Right after that, the next quest appears on the display and you can go out and complete the next one. So the whole thing basically turns into a little real-life scavenger hunt. Now, one thing I should probably mention is that the camera itself isn't amazing. It's only a small 3 megapixel camera, so yeah, you shouldn't expect incredible image quality here. Once I had a first version of the code running and everything roughly worked, I started designing the enclosure. And I'm not gonna lie, that part took way longer than I expected. Trying to fit all the components into a small case was actually pretty tricky. I went through quite a few different designs until everything finally fit the way I wanted it to. But once the design was finished, the next challenge was printing it. Because this case has quite a few small details and tight tolerances, I needed a printer that I could really rely on. And that's where today's sponsor comes in. This video is sponsored by Prusa. They sent me their Core One Plus and I used it to print the entire project. And I have to say, as someone who has used Prusa printers for years, I was actually pretty excited to try this one. There's one thing I've always liked about Prusa machines, and that's precision. Not many printers are this consistent when it comes to small functional parts, and for a project like this, that actually matters a lot. The Core One is Prusa's first Core XY printer, which basically means it's both fast and very precise at the same time. So it turned out to be the perfect machine to print all the parts for this camera. For the material I used Prusament PETG, which is one of my go-to materials for functional parts like this. It's strong, slightly flexible and works really well for small mechanical parts. So I sliced the model, started the print and let the printer do its thing. After a while, the first parts were finished and I have to say, they turned out really nice. Everything fit together exactly the way it was supposed to. Now with all the printed parts ready, it was finally time to assemble the camera. To make the assembly a bit easier, I actually soldered everything outside of the case first. I know it looks a bit messy, and honestly I think it's slowly time that I finally learn how to design my own PCBs. But for this project the wiring is actually pretty simple. Once all the cables are connected, the battery goes in first. After that the display and the camera board get installed, followed by the power switch. And finally the button goes into the front. Now we can close the case. And just like that, the camera is finished. Now, the way the camera works is actually pretty simple. You turn it on with the switch on the side and the next quest immediately appears on the display. When you press the button, the camera takes a picture and confirms the quest. If you double-click the button, a 10-second timer starts, so you can actually take a photo of yourself completing the quest. And if you hold the button for about 3 seconds, the camera goes into pairing mode, which allows you to connect to it over Wi-Fi. Once you connect it, you can open a small web page directly in your browser, and that's where you can see all the quests you've completed so far. The interface basically shows a small gallery of your photos together with the quests that belong to them, so you can go through everything you've done and kind of relive those little moments. You can also mark quests as completed manually in case you didn't take the perfect photo but still want to count it, and you can repeat or delete quests whenever you want. The interface also shows how many quests you've already completed in total, and you can even add your own quests, which is actually something I really like about this project because it means you can customize it however you want. I can even imagine this being really fun for couples, where you just add random activities or little challenges and then complete them together over time, and at the end you end up with a small gallery of all those memories. After using it for a while, I noticed something funny. When you walk around with this camera, your brain kind of switches into quest mode and suddenly you start looking at everything around you thinking, does this count? And that's exactly what I wanted this camera to do. Also with the last project, a lot of you from the community helped improve it with ideas and suggestions, which was honestly really cool to see. So if you have ideas for new quests or features, I'd love to hear them because I'm really curious what you come up with. If you want to build one yourself, you can find all the files, the code and the full guide on my Ko-fi, and if you're interested in the printer I used for this project, I'll also put the link to the Prusa Core One Plus down in the description. Now if you excuse me, I still have a few quests to finish.